Welcome to this installment of Spotlight on Sparks. I'm Adam Mayberry, reporting at the History Plaza, the beautiful Legends at Sparks Marina. The Legends opened earlier last year and has 35 top brands not found anywhere in the Reno Sparks area. As we get underway in the second decade of the 21st century, the city has undergone an effort to define itself. In this program, we'll hear a lot about the city's branding project, which will provide the necessary marketing infrastructure to help promote Sparks to the region and the world. But first, Sparks Mayor Gino Martini and Councilwoman Julia Ratty share their thoughts and resolutions for 2010.
We're definitely not going to grow hair. That's not happening. And even if I wanted to, wouldn't be much of an effort on my part because there's just not that much there. But New Year's resolution for me is, get through another year and get to 2011. Continue to work with staff and the people that work here to ensure that we get through another year of giving service to the citizens of Sparks and doing it the best we can.
Well, for the city, my New Year's resolution would be to work much harder on getting citizen participation, particularly in Ward 1. We don't have a lot of representation on some of the boards and the commissions. When we have the public come into the chambers, it very often isn't folks from Ward 1. So I want to work very actively to make sure that people from Ward 1 are getting information about what's going on with the city and are being invited to participate in anything that the city has to offer. On the personal side, I've set a goal, Washoe County in partnership with the city of Sparks and the city of Reno has just published this beautiful Washoe County Trails Guide. If you haven't seen it yet, you should definitely get yourself a copy. They're all over the community. And I've set a goal to visit every trail this year. I haven't said that I'm going to do the entirety of the trail. I'm going to just set myself up here to, because like one of them, for instance, is the entire Tahoe Rim Trail, but I want to visit and go do some hiking on and walking on every trail in the community. I feel like it'll give me a better sense of what's going on out there, and we just have such a beautiful region that'll get me out there.
Well, for me, it started about 3 years ago when I first got elected. I've always thought that the Sparks was under advertised. We have so many things to offer in this city, and we never did it. We were always under the shadow of Reno. Well, branding means to get all the businesses, everybody that lives here, in the same direction, the synergy, if you will, that we're trying to promote our city.
We're known as the Rail City, and that's something that I think our local people know very well, that we're the Rail City. But once you get out of our state and move to other states, people don't know us as the Rail City, and it doesn't play in other areas. So we've got to get the word out there that we're the city of Sparks, with our logo that we're promoting and with the branding taglines that we're going to be using. We need to get those out to people so they know where Sparks is and they know what's available here.
Our thoughts were never to take away anybody's heritage. My wife's great-great-grandfather was mayor of Sparks, and he was an engineer on the railroad. So there's a tie to this community, to the railroad. We're not trying to lose that at all. But is it easy to sell? I don't think so. The things we're doing now with the shopping experiences at the Legend and the softball out at Golden Eagle Park, that's what people are going to come to visit. We're going to build some hotels downtown. We're building more restaurants. That's what we can market. That's what makes people want to go on vacation in Sparks.
So we've been going almost 3 years now that the city decided that this was an important part of our future. This is all about the future of the city of Sparks. We saw 3 years ago the Legends concept finally coming to fruition. Things were looking very, very good. We've getting our feet, we're almost 100,000 people now, it's time to make a statement. It's time to say who we are and let the world know who we are. And so the branding process started evolving. We hired a totally outside consultant out of the area to come in, came into town for 3 days without anybody knowing was in town, had 5 different people make phone calls to different hotels, different places of entertainment, booking agencies and stuff to talk about the city of Sparks. Where could you go? They spent 3 days driving around town, taking pictures of the community, taking pictures of street signs. It was amazing what we learned by just seeing a slideshow of street signs in the city of Sparks and how do we direct people to the places we want them to go to. And we learned an awful lot. During the process in which we had hired the consulting firm to come in to help us on out was an entire week-long process where both morning, afternoon, and evening meetings were set up for the public to come in and had workshops. Some were in group, some were individually, but some were just done by tables, where there was all kinds of input. The citizens of the community were invited and put that input on out there, and then all that information was brought back, tabulated, formulated, and passed out to different members of the committee to look at and really see what the common themes were and what people wanted to see the city look like in 20 years. And it was a very effective process, and I thank the public for doing that, and I really appreciate the public continually being involved.
We have a group of folks, it's called the BLT, the Brand Leadership Team. They're business people that are running this whole program. It's not the politicians, the elected officials. We are not running it. They have a stake in this. These folks are all volunteers, and if you want to get an education, come into one of their meetings and see what they're doing.
You know, I think it's very important. You know, if someday we're going to be a destination place where people want to come and recreate from out of the state, then it's a very important process we have to go through.
We'll talk more about branding shortly, but first, let's hear from Sparks City Manager Sean Carey on the current economic challenges the city is facing and what our residents can expect.
Since 2006, the City of Sparks has been dealing with a tremendous downturn in our local economy. That has resulted in the budget here at the City of Sparks being cut in order to make our resources and services we provide match the resources that are coming in. The City of Sparks uses property tax, sales tax, and then permits and fees for services to provide almost 90% of the revenues we utilize. We all know that sales are down in the Reno area, and Sparks is part of the Reno area in terms of sales tax. In fact, for 33 consecutive months, sales taxes have fallen here in Washoe County. And in fact, for the last 22 months, those declines have been at a rate which has been in double digits. The most recent sales tax information we have, for example, from the month of October, showed that the City of Sparks had a decline of over 17.7%. We're also seeing a decline in property taxes. The City of Sparks grew greatly in the first half of the decade that just ended. And from 2000 and 2005, we achieved almost $1 billion of new valuation added to our tax rolls. In each of the last 2 years, however, we have seen that property tax revenue, which is based upon the value of property held in private hands within our community, has begun to fall. In fact, our estimate for next year is that property tax collections in Sparks will be down some 10.6%. The warning signs were first recognized by the city in 2006, and each of our budgets since that time frame have been trying to reduce services. In fact, today, over 26% of our workforce has been eliminated, and in many areas, our programs are barely hanging on. In some cases, whole positions, whole service levels have been eliminated, and that's a challenge that we will continue to confront. This downturn has required us to focus our resources into our public safety departments and maintaining very critical public safety response capability. We've also cut public safety, and we've been very fortunate to have employees leave the city based upon their time in service. And within the fire department, we've lost over 28 equivalent employees in the staffing of our fire services. As you know, we have 5 stations here in Sparks that are spread geographically in order to provide an overall response time which is consistent with national standards. We have had to reduce the number of employees that are manning each of those stations, which does impact the way we have to fight fires and respond in hazardous conditions. We must follow some very strict safety regulations, and those are all being complied with. But the net result is our response times and our abilities as we get to the fire have been reduced by the reduction in employees. Things are still safe in the city of Sparks, but it's necessary to have our services match our revenues, and those are decisions we've made. We've also had to freeze a number of positions within our police department, again through attrition. And so in the police department today we have 13 open positions, and it's those 13 positions that are providing a lot of strain on our patrol officers and in our detective division. So things are very tight, and I think that the coming year is going to be one of continued challenge and will require us to cut the budget. So the upcoming budget, which starts on July 1, has about a $4.9 million shortfall, again directly associated in declines in private activity. We have seen over a $1.7 billion loss in taxable sales here in Washoe County. That's, for example, like the entire Carson Valley disappearing from an economic activity zone. That's the size and the scale of the loss that we have seen. Now that $1.7 billion doesn't all end in Sparks. In fact, we get about 13% of the sales taxes returned to Sparks that are collected within Washoe County. We generate 28% and we get 13% back. But when you have over $1 billion of slower economic activity, you're going to see these types of problems. Now let's focus on the year ahead. I mentioned we have a $4.9 million budget shortfall. At this point in time, that will have to come from two principal sources: reductions in services in all departments of the city or reductions in personnel. And we are actively seeking to do the best job we can reducing our services in ways which prioritize our services from the most important to the least important, and make sure that we do eliminate services in a way which allow us to do the most with what we have, and that's the challenge that lies ahead. The solution is not one that government can provide here at the local level. What we need to see is a return to more normal economic conditions in the private sector where we have growth and investment. Sparks, Nevada is a great place to live. It's one of the top 5 communities in the United States for which to choose to retire. We have a great business climate. And what we need to do is see a return to growth. And that growth will fuel prosperity and will mean a return to more normal levels of city service that our residents have come to expect. You can expect in the coming year that city services will not be as abundant. And I would just ask for your patience and understanding as you call, as you report problems, to understand that we have clearly lost 26% of our workforce, and we simply don't have the response capabilities we've had in the past.
Council members Phil Salerno and Ron Smith share their thoughts and goals for 2010. But first, a little more insight into the city's branding project. You know, a strong brand is only going to help the city and the region recover from a weak economy that we're currently in. Additionally, the thrust of the city's brand project and identity is to make Sparks a place where there is always something happening. It's happening here in Sparks, Nevada.
You know, and the tagline that we're talking about, it's happening here, you know, I think is great. When I think of that, it creates in my mind somewhere that I want to go and somewhere that I want to be. So that's the word that we got to get out. You know, we have great special events already. We have the rib cook-off. We have the Hometown Christmas is a great event that we need people to know about. Hot August Nights is another great event that we have down there. The Farmers Market. But if we're going to create or promote those out of state and get people to come here, then, you know, the tagline, "It's happening here," I think is perfect to get the word out to people.
What are we known for? What do we do well? And what we do well is special events. So we have about 60 event days now a year. We're trying to go to 200. Can you imagine the businesses that may want to come down here if we're providing 200 event days? And that doesn't mean just in Victorian Square. That means throughout the city. And we're adding events every day. The Hometown Christmas Parade is very popular. And it's cold out there, but people love to come there. And we moved the Christmas tree lighting to Friday night to get more people to attend. We had 1,000 people attend this year when normally it's 100 or 150. So we're looking at every way we can to provide that atmosphere for the people that live here.
You know, our tagline is "It's happening here." You know, that you know, we want people to know that no matter what kind of entertainment you're looking for, restaurants, activities, Sparks is a place to come. You can come to City of Sparks for just about everything you want. Good entertainment, good restaurants, good quality of hotel accommodations. And we want you to come, if you're coming to Northern Nevada for 3 or 4 days to come bowling, we want you to come spend a day in the City of Sparks and come do some shopping at our new Legends projects. We want you to come to the City of Sparks and spend some time and be known for a good family place to come to, and you know, good place to come and spend a day or a couple of days.
Can you imagine if we did get to 200 days or more, the excitement that would create, the venues that would bring people downtown or at Golden Eagle Park just to participate in what we're doing? It would truly be happening here if we could do that. This is a brand that we have to earn. You don't just come out and say you have a brand and then it's true. The brand means let's get stuff going in the City of Sparks.
The logo is a very interesting portion of the branding, where a lot of focus is done on the logo for the city and how that logo's taken, you know, is used. When really it's a small portion of the whole branding. It's just one of the tools that are inside of a toolbox. And if I was to ask you today of how many logos there are for the City of Sparks, most people would probably say there's 1 or 2 maybe. Well, there's probably, at last count, I think there was 15 or 17 different logos for the City of Sparks. Different departments have them. We really don't have a unified logo in the City of Sparks, nor do we have a process of taking that logo and make sure it's properly put on all the advertisements, brochures, marketing material for the City of Sparks. So what we're attempting to do in the branding is to obviously develop a new logo, but make that logo uniform throughout the city.
You know, the logo is a very small part of the branding effort. It's an important part, but it's very smart. It probably gets the most attention of anything we're doing, because the branding effort is everything we do combined in heading in one direction. But people focus on the logo, and we did a lot of research on this. We did a lot of focus groups, and this is what they came up with. I didn't come up with it, or the City Council didn't come up with it, but we like it. And it's something that we can use for Sparks to move forward on. We want people to look at that and know exactly where they're going, or where Sparks is.
It's a very exciting process. It really is, to see how your city can evolve and what the future looks like for the City of Sparks. I can tell you things look very, very bright for the City of Sparks in the coming decades.
Start out with, for the new year, I made a resolution, and I'm looking into it now. I'm going to get involved in the Big Brothers and Big Sisters program and see if I can maybe help out there. I wouldn't mind getting a young man in need and try to help them out any way that I can. I think it's a good cause, good organization. So I've been traveling the first part of this year, but I'm back now, and I'm going to look into it, and so that's my New Year's resolution. My personal goal to accomplish is get more active in that particular organization. Well, in the City of Sparks, I've got about 11 months from January. It'll be the end of my term. I'm term limited out. I end up with right at 16 years of service as a city councilman in the same ward. So unfortunately, they put the term limits on us, and I'll be going out. So my goal for it this year, if you would, is to finish it out and complete my term in an honorable way and pass the torch on to somebody else, and so they can take off where I left off.
Personal resolutions, I never make them, but I am this year. We all agree that we need snow up at Lake Tahoe for not only our water, but for recreational purposes. And I'm a firm believer, and always have been, that snow is great while it's falling. It's when it hits the ground that we have a problem. So I'm going to push for an ordinance this year that snow is not allowed to hit the ground, and then that'll stop us from shoveling snow and snow removal and anything that's related to that. Just driving is a mess. You know, but on a serious note, there's a lot of things I want to move forward in the city. We need to move forward with the Pyramid McCarran interchange, the southeast connector, and the flood project. All of these have been on the books for a while. The southeast connector since 1954. We're finally moving forward on that. The Pyramid McCarran intersection should have been done 10 years ago. It hasn't been. That's just, I want to move forward with those things for Sparks. And we want to finish the Legends, period.
A half-century-old structure was demolished at Victorian Square to make way for improvements and progress. The mayor, city council, and many dignitaries were on hand to see the building come down. 5 minutes to make sure everybody gets there.
All right, thanks everybody for showing up. We'll make this quick. I know it's cold. I want to thank the Esquagas for being here. John and Michonne, Beth Cooney, Larry Harvey, thank you so much for being over here. We have also with us Ron Smith, who's the head of the redevelopment agency, and Julia Ratty, who's the vice chairman. Also Councilman Phil Salerno and County Commissioner, what's your name? Bob Larkin. So thanks everyone. We're very happy about this day today, about to tear this building down. It's been here many, many years, built in the 50s, I believe. I want to thank Empire Contractors for doing the demolition and getting this going, and we're happy to do that. So right now I want to introduce Ron Smith, who can say a few words. Please, Ron.
Thank you, Gino. Thank you. I'd just like to thank the Esquagas, and this is a joint effort with the city and the Nugget. This area we're looking at right now is the spine. This is where the excitement and the energy is going to be when we get redevelopment going down here.
I'm really excited, of course, because this is the heart of Ward 1. It's the oldest part of the city, and it's time for some energy and activity to come back down to this part of the city. Great anchors with the Nugget on this side and the cinema on that side, and I can't wait to see all the activity that'll go in between them. Thank you very much for being here, and I look forward to good things.
John, come on up and say a couple words, please. Come on.
I got the most history in Sparks. Well, eliminating this building here certainly opens the avenue for a great development here, Mayor. And, you know, I go back a long ways from the Gold Club. Took many years. But this is a short time compared to the Gold Club, but this is progress.
2, 3.
And we're back at the Legends of Sparks Marina, where there are a variety of new and unique dining opportunities, from Fuddruckers to Cadillac Ranch to the Louisiana Jazz Kitchen to even a new pizzeria, just to name a few. You know, as we discuss the branding efforts further, it's important to understand that there's a brand leadership team in place that's made up of key community and business leaders. This body is responsible for moving forward and implementing the brand to date. Paul Curtis is the chair of the city's brand leadership team and will tell us a bit more about the progress made to date.
The brand leadership team was put together by the City of Sparks as a group of private business people and community leaders interested in working with the city to revitalize and to move the city forward in a positive direction. And that's really the role of the brand leadership team. The genesis of the brand leadership team came about as a result of an effort by the City of Sparks. They hired a consultant who came into town and did a very good job evaluating the strengths and weaknesses of the community, and suggested that the community seek out a new identity, a new brand. And part of the first stages of implementation of that effort was to create a brand leadership team. It's important that it be implemented by the community. And the community is made up of both private and public elements. And so it's really important to work together to create a brand. Remember, a brand is an idea, it's a notion, it's what people think when they think of a person or a thing or a community. And so the idea of branding the community is really an idea of changing an attitude, of really thinking what is possible and accomplishing it as a community.
Another important question our residents may be asking is, how can the city afford to pay for a branding and marketing campaign during these tough economic times? Well, the answer to that is simple. The money comes from the city's tourism.
The money for the branding projects and the brand leadership team and this whole branding effort is money that's derived at the small portion that the city of Sparks gets from the RSCVA, which is the room taxes. So local folks, unless you spend a lot of time in a hotel, unless you rent hotel rooms, you're not paying into this tax. This is a tax that visitors from the community come in, they pay so much a night, or percentage of their bill to the RSCVA. And then the city of Sparks' share of that is maximum every year is $200,000. So if there's 10 million, 12 million that goes into the RSCVA every year, city of Sparks can only get 200,000 of that. And then that money is earmarked that can only be used to drive tourism in northern Nevada. It can help with obviously other areas outside the city of Sparks, but we've chosen to develop our marketing program, to develop our branding, and to let the city of Sparks shine. And I think it's money very, very well spent. It's a very small amount of money. I'm telling you, we're stretching that money out every day, making every penny count.
It's important to recognize that the logo that is established and has been approved is really not the brand. It's just an identity. It's a mental hook. It's a placeholder, if you will, to go ahead and build the brand. And while it gets a lot of attention and it's necessarily one of the first things that happens in establishing and building a brand, it's really not the brand at all. It's really just a reminder of what it is we want to try and accomplish. And so as we walk the walk, as the community walks the walk and talks the talk, the idea will emerge with the colors and the recollection of that logo as we move forward in time.
I only have two New Year's resolutions this year, and one of them is to continue working hard for my bosses, and that's the citizens of Sparks. And the other New Year's resolution is to try to recruit more companies to our business parks so we can generate some high-paying jobs in the city of Sparks.
As you know, New Year's resolutions are always those things that, usually the second week of January you probably forgot them already, or you've already broken them. And and I can say that's probably the case for a lot of people. But I've got a couple New Year's resolutions. One is, the city has been through some very difficult times this last year, and those difficult times look like they're still another year ahead of us to go. And it's been very, I think it's on the city council and staff, it's been very, very weighing. We're spending an awful lot of more time on our jobs, and I've had a New Year resolution to start taking some personal time this year to just kind of take some time to breathe down a little bit, to be able to focus, because we have a rough year ahead of us, and take that time. And part of that personal time I'm going to take is I'm going to spend some new time with my new grandbaby. A couple months ago I had a brand new granddaughter born, and she's a beautiful young lady, and she deserves some of my time, and that's where I'm going to try to spend some time this year. So it's looking forward to it.
Thanks to a grant made possible by the Nell J. Redfield Foundation, the Adapted Aquatics program, held at the Alf Sorensen Community Center here in Sparks, is the only program of its kind. Participants with disabilities benefit from this interactive water exercise rehabilitation program on a year-round basis in the facility's indoor heated pool.
What we do in Adapted Aquatics is we try to get people moving who are not able to move in another setting on ground. Some people have some debilitating diseases that are not able to exercise traditionally, like on a treadmill or in a weight room or on a bike. The class takes place at Alf Sorensen's Community Center, 1400 Bering Boulevard in Sparks, right next to Reed High School. The class is from 11:30 to 1 o'clock, Monday through Thursday. But on Monday, Wednesday, it's Adapted 1, and on Tuesday, Thursday is Adapted 2. The difference between the classes, Adapted 1 is more for the person who is not able to do as many things and needs to stay in shallow water. Whereas in Adapted 2, the Tuesday, Thursday class, we go out into the deep water and we challenge individuals more with cardiovascular endurance and muscle and strengthening.
The Adapted Aquatics program has been a long-standing program, and in the past it was funded by both the City of Sparks, Parks and Recreation Department, the Multiple Sclerosis Society, as well as the Northern Nevada Center for Independent Living. But as the funding sources were depleted and our budget cuts began, the program became a casualty of the budget cuts in 2008. Therefore, we did go after some funding, and we were fortunate to receive grant from the Nell J. Redfield Foundation in 2009, and thanks to their funding we were able to continue the program. The participation actually increased by 19% in 2009, and we reapplied, and the Redfield Foundation has been generous enough to give us another grant to continue through 2010.
Well, the number one goal is to have fun, enjoy exercise again. There's no age parameters. The thing is, if you feel that you're going to go under, there's a lot of individuals here, and we got one lifeguard, but if you feel like you're going to go under or you don't feel safe in the water, we request to have an aide with them. That's about the only thing I suggest as any kind of requirements.
To the best of my knowledge, the Adapted Aquatic program here at Alf Sorensen is the only one of its kind in the area, and like I said, it's been long-standing. It was here, I think it's about 25-year-old program. The goal of the program is to provide an outlet for people who can't do traditional exercise on land or in weight rooms. Water gives you the sense of weightlessness, and they're able to increase their endurance, their flexibility, core strength, as well as a lot of social interaction. But I think the goal is to really get their physical abilities back or improved. The cost for this program for each participant is a $2 drop-in fee, and if a person cannot afford that, we have our scholarship fund, which is very easy to apply for, and that can assist anybody with financial assistance if needed.
Sparks Parks and Rec offers many programs. Come check us out.
And in this program, we also want to introduce the city's new Sparks Citizens Advisory Committee, a group of 18 dedicated citizens appointed by the mayor and city council to provide feedback and input on a variety of city programs and policies. The newly appointed Citizen Advisory Committee's primary purpose is to provide essential citizen input to the mayor and city council and to engage in and promote volunteerism in the city of Sparks.
You're thinking it, somebody else is thinking it, and I find on the council meetings that sometimes you don't want to say anything, and then you go, I should have said that because it's not how I feel. So it's good that you're able to voice your opinions, and I'm sure you don't want to.
The committee is expected to perform in a positive and collaborative manner to gather information and provide constructive feedback and suggestions to the mayor and the city council on how to make Sparks an even better place to live.
But I'm very confident with the people that are here and your extensive, diverse backgrounds, your experiences with the city, your experiences in life, and Mr. Mayberry, that we're going to get there. That our road looks very, very bright, and I thank each one of you for your time commitment on this, and let's move to the future together.
While the committee receives updates from city departments, it acts strictly in an advisory capacity to the city council and offers an excellent opportunity for Sparks residents of all ages, from high school age on up, to become familiar with how local governments operate.
Well, I think I would like to discover a little bit more about the city of Sparks and the policies and what's going on in the city, and anything I can do to help, with the advisory committee. I'd love to do something like that.
Following along, drawing the agendas offline and looking through, and then contacting Ron through areas that I felt I should give some input, and I felt this would be the same type of thing, that I could give some more input through it. Nothing in particular. I have no agenda that would be, you know, I want this issue or that issue, but primarily just to get to know the city a little bit more.
Thanks for watching this installment of Spotlight on Sparks. Make sure you follow us on Twitter and Facebook, and log on to the city's website at www.cityofsparks.us. You know, Sparks is such a great place to live and visit, so make sure that you experience all that Sparks has to offer. From recreation, shopping, dining, Sparks, Nevada. It's happening here.